Just kidding, it's not morning. My internet's terrible. Alright, well, I left off doing something, and then I just got frustrated that the stream cut out, and I thought, I'll get lunch. So I got lunch, and now I want to figure out what that something is. Oh yeah, I was re-uploading the cosmetics tool. So, it should have been deployed. This is why I should tell people to mute the stream. Alright. Okay, so new cosmetics tool mostly. I mean, that's what I care about. I guess there were also some bug fixes here. Excuse me. So I guess I'll say this. New artwork, updated cosmetics tool, and fixed bugs with routing messages to everyone. Okay, so that's done. Deploy. Then modify this in prod host. Just ping art.bot.land to find the IP address. So get the IP address. Then put that in prod host. So Debian1. And then, whoa, was my viewer count actually correct? No, it says current viewer is 0. I'm online, right? Yeah, weird. Okay, so screen-rd, we don't have a screen, so now we do. And we go into botland, and then vim prod host. We get just the cosmetics tool, right? Yeah. So cosmetics tool, actually we should already have that IP address. Yeah, we do. So we don't even need to save this. And then we can just run this. And we should be good to go. So we'll know that we're good to go because right now, art.bot.land, if I go to this, like you can see that this is not a bot. This is a refrigerator. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of weird stuff going on. So if I just run this command, then everything, oh, this is going to ask me for a password, isn't it? There we go. Ah, I've bested you. Password input. Yeah, so this should be updated probably in about 20 seconds. I don't know exactly how long it takes. Oh, anyway, we'll give it some time. And I will mark this as finished. So this is pretty much good. I'll just say this. For the cosmetics combiner, use local storage to save value so that artists don't have to manually import/export. Okay, well, I was wrong about 20 seconds. It's going to take a little bit longer, I guess. Okay, the next thing. Get to the point where I can just multiply all the detail. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Before next deploy. Yeah, so this is what we're going to do. Jeez, I hope this doesn't take the rest of the day. I'll put this at the top of the list. Installing absolutely everything. By the way, I think it's very likely that my stream is going to continue to cut out today. For it. The password is Control-C, Control-V. And hey, Alex. A lot of people with Alex come into this stream in their name. Alex in their name. Yeah, so that's definitely broken. But maybe it is going to fix itself. Or maybe I need to go clear the cache on the machine. That's probably more likely. Yeah. Okay, well, let's go do that then. You may need to SSH in the machine to clear the cache. The downloaded images cache. Alright, let's do that. So I gotta open up SSH Butler and go into the art machine. So I gotta do this off screen for a second. Okay, how does this work? Screen dash RD 47691.tty.host. What? Do I copy paste this whole thing? I don't remember how this works. No. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. What? It says type screen dash R pid.tty.host to resume one of them. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Alright, whatever. Let's just start up a new screen then. Great, cool. So we're going to go into Botland builds, tools, cosmetics combiner, downloaded images, and we're just going to wipe out the cache. Hey, Vendrix. Yeah, I did use tmi.js. Oh, so the .tty.host was unnecessary? Okay. So what if we kill this screen? So screen dash R and then this entire thing. Oh, thanks, dude. How you doing, Vendrix? How's Biome Defense coming? All right, so what am I trying to do here? I want to restart this thing so that it rebuilds the cache. So all we need to do is go into the cache here, rm star, and then restart it. Easy peasy. Except for that's not how we restart it. How do we restart it? Okay, I don't know. PM2 stop. All right, let's just do that. Except for let's do it here. PM2 stop. Okay, there. Now, what I need to do is restart it, and that is probably easiest to do with the start command. Oh, thank goodness. Okay. Yeah, so that's all we need to do then. We need to copy paste this. Extra various tags, limit cosmetics tool, dash tags, start. That's it. Hey, Ghost Dog. Thanks for following. Okay, so let's just run this command. And it's going to ask for the passphrase again. We're going to put in the password, which is Control-C, Control-V. I don't even know if I pressed Control-V. I didn't. Okay, there. That time I did. Alright, great. Hey, Nasimico. Well, I took a week. I don't know if that was very long, but it was helpful. Okay, so check it out. It is now writing the sprite sheets, and then we should be good to go. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Oh, except for that people don't want it. Oh, darn it. They didn't want it to randomize the colors when you do this. Okay, well, whoops. Make the randomize bot button stop randomizing colors. Hey, Vognar. I'm doing well. How are you doing? So tell Jason about the updated tool. Also tell him that I accidentally left in color randomization. Yeah, so I guess if artists for now want to randomize without changing the colors, then they'll have to just click this each of these buttons. It's not terrible. Some of these are pretty ridiculous. Okay, well anyway, it's working. And exporting and importing should be working too. So let's test that out. We change this, we hit import, we paste, we import. Cool, it's working. Okay, done, done, and done. Next, lower the amount of time in each game, especially since we haven't balanced the game or anything. All right, so let's close out of all of this stuff. In fact, do we need any of these things open? No, 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 and no, and no. Yeah, so we can just close all tabs. Done, 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 done. All right, so lower the amount of time in each game. So let's just go into constants. Let's try that again. Search for, so currently the pre-game time lasts for 7 seconds and then the in-game time lasts for 13 minutes. So let's change the in-game time to, let's just ask you guys about this. How many minutes should Botland games last for the sake of testing? About 2 to 3 weeks maybe. So let's say 2 minutes. All choices are in minutes. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're currently at 13 minutes. So I'll create this poll, and you guys can just answer what you think is reasonable. I'll just take the average or something and pick a number. I think somewhere between, like, I think less than 5 minutes is probably too short. Also, I'd probably need to change buffs so that, yeah, 2 minutes. 5, yeah, I think 5 minutes is pretty reasonable. Okay, well, and that's pretty much the average of what people voted for. Now it's alright, fine. Yeah, let's go with like 5 minutes. Okay, then because of that, we'll make the buff times. So subsequent buff choice times. Right now it's at 0 minutes, and then at 5 and at 10. Well, 5 is when the match ends. So let's give one to you at the 3-minute mark, and there, that's it. You'll just get 1 buff during the game. Yeah, a lot of people voted for 5. Okay, you guys can stop voting on this. I think I'm gonna just go with 5. I voted 1. Hey, Fazine. Okay, cool. Okay, so raise the number of players needed back to 6. That is a tall order. Okay, so that's done too. That was easy. Fix offset bug for bot graphics and then make deploys to AWS much easier. What do I want to do here? Because I could just deploy this and you guys could start playing it, I guess. And I want to add administrative APIs. We're for you. Yeah. That's why being able to relocate tabs is a good idea. So having bookmarks, or if you've got like files open, just having them in a project, for example, so that you can just open them quickly. So I think fixing the offset is actually going to be relatively tough. Oh, let's look into it. Excuse me. Oops. Every time I have a lot of tabs open, I just close a bunch of them without knowing what they were. Is Delzy here? No. Never mind. Alright. He sent me a lot of feedback on the game design revamping stuff, and I wanted to talk to everyone about it, but I guess that's not going to happen. which, by the way, there's that document again, in case anyone wants to read it. The more I think about it, the more I think like the proposed design is almost certainly not final, but it's probably a step in the right direction. I think the concept of having in-match money is a really good idea. But what it's used for, I don't know. There's a lot of things to work out. Okay, so bots rendering at the correct offset. This should be an easy problem to fix, but I don't think it's actually going to be. So bot sprite position x equals this. So we're positioning all of the bots based on where the tile is. I guess one of the things that I have to do here is set the number of players per game to 1 and then deploy bots that move infrequently. Let's try this out. So let's close out of everything. I mean, we were just talking about closing a bunch of tabs. Let's actually do that. Okay, now let's restart. Does the matchmaker need to restart? Yeah, I guess so. Actually, everything probably does. Let's just restart it all. So we'll restart the overseer. I actually need to use the keyboard for that. I can just use the mouse for everything else. There. All right. So now when we connect as Adam, I'm going to make a script that's special just for this. There's no way to delete scripts from here, is there? All right, let's just take this one. So let's clear everything. Clean up blocks. No, delete all blocks. Yes. Cool, so they're all gone. Now we're going to make a script that says if there's a 10% chance that we just move randomly. No, we got to have this a little bit higher at least, like 30% chance. So move random, update, and do we, no, I don't really care about any of this. Okay, that's that. So now let's just hit play. I'm in the game. We drag this bot onto the queue. It'll get deployed, and then we'll see that bots start out on the right coordinates, and then they get moved to bad coordinates. So let's take a look at how this is happening right now. So we have this bot and this bot. Let's just put this. That's pretty good, right? It looks like these always existed that way. Okay, so this bot is more or less correct. And I don't know how that's possible. It's once they move that they look wrong. And is that true for all heights of bots? What's the tallest bot that I can make? This is pretty good. So blacksmith, torso, bulldozer head. Let's go make that. Blacksmith, torso, bulldozer head. This is actually pretty close to that. So we'll just put bulldozer head on top. And then what's the tallest foot piece? Probably the wasp foot. Yeah, those are all pretty small, but the wasp foot's pretty tall. Okay, so we'll call this tall bot. And then we'll make a short bot. The short bot would be probably the Quetzal foot and yeah, that's pretty small. So yeah, I think that's it. So we'll just call it short bot and we'll give it the same figured out script. Okay, so let's try this. We're going to deploy a tall bot and a short bot. All right. Yeah. There's just one thing I need to test that I can't test with the current system. Oh my god. Stop doing that MS Paint. All right, there we go. And the thing I need to test is, do these bots work correctly when they don't have a script? So let's say I change figure it out to just do nothing and I hit update. Now I kill my bots. They get redeployed. Let's go into repeat mode. Hey, Pro Sam. My vacation was pretty good. Thanks for asking. Yeah, it was nice to be able to take some time. Oh, perfect. This is actually exactly what I wanted. So you can see the bots are already lined up based on their foot pieces somehow. I don't know how I did that. Yeah, I don't remember coding that, but I must have because this all looks totally fine. So the only issue is once they move. So we'll just take a picture of this too. Well, no, you know what we'll do? We'll take a picture once they're close enough. There, that's perfect. Just have to randomize it a bunch of times. Yeah, Vloxen, I haven't been answering that where I went on vacation. That I think is a tiny bit personal. Okay, so now we can paste this in here. Okay, so this shows us all the bots. This is the starting position, so I'll just draw an S next to the starting position ones, and then this is after moving. So moving, moving, moving. So all I need to do is figure out how to position this. This is once it's been deployed. Yeah, create bot. Bot sprite.position.x equals physics component.tilex. How does that work? Oh, because of how I construct the... Oh, man, okay. I think I know how this works, and I think we just don't have any offsets in there. And then we're probably good. Yeah, so it's just in the chase target system that's probably screwing this up. Sprite.position.x, chase results, dest x, dest y. So there's chase pixels, there's also chase tile here. Vacation was at your local park. No, it was a beach location. And the beaches in Washington, or at least around where I live, are all pretty bad. This was a nice beach. A really nice beach. Okay, so let's see. This. Fix these offsets. So let's just delete the offsets and maybe that'll fix everything. Let's try it out. Okay, so I just refresh this page and then connect again. It puts me back into the game, and I change these scripts so that they have figure it out. Update and kill. Okay, that does not work. Yeah, I wonder why. Is it very different from what it used to be? Probably not star star star. You're correct. So did it get better or worse? Yeah, it looks to be about the same. There's probably some other, like these offsets, 11 and 24, are used all over the code, I think. Like this, fire sprite. Test bots being on fire. -11. Where else do these offsets exist? This, what is this? What is this? This is not the center of the tile. We need to know the sprite offset in order to properly align ourselves. I don't think we do need to know that. Thank you very much, code. Are these off by 11 pixels and then 24 pixels? Because if so, that'd be perfect. Because I just fixed the problem if that's the case. Oh my god, I fixed the problem. Nice. Look at those. So now the bots are correct, but their life bars are super weird. So I'm going to have to figure that out. And yeah, okay. So I'll have to figure that out. So yeah, fire's going to be wrong. The life bars are wrong. Where do life bars draw? Life bar. Graphics.x equals get center x of the sprite minus constant.tile size. And graphics.y is just the sprite's position plus 25. Yeah, this is not a good idea. We'd have to base this on the bottom. Hey, Thelzy. So, Thelzy, I wanted to ask you, I know you said don't show your email address on stream. That part's fine. But the PDF, do you mind if I go through that on stream? because I wanted to respond to what you said, and if I don't just respond to it here, it's going to take me like an hour to write up all of my thoughts. And yeah, that's gonna be a long time. So did I respond to Reddit thread? Okay. Not at all. That's yours to do with what you wish. Oh, thanks again, Louis. So nice. I will take your 1 viewers. Okay, so let's find this. So I should just be able to click this. Let's download it. That way there's no risk of me showing his email address. Okay, so I'm going to give everyone some background on this. Every single time I've tried explaining this on stream, my stream cuts out. So I'm cursed, and I think that you guys are just going to eventually be like, why is stream buffering? Because my stream's going to cut out again. So here's what I'm doing. Now I'm going to explain this from the beginning. Check your email address isn't at the top. No, well, let me search this. No, I don't think anything personal is there. Okay, so yeah, here's the deal. Hey, Million Levels. Here's the deal. I just linked this into chat. This is a document that I wrote yesterday. It took me about 2 or 3 hours to write. In short, it's the problems with Botland as it's designed right now. So this covers completely the current design, the issues with the design, and then like a proposed design, but I don't think the proposed design is final. So there's all of that. Now, Dalzy read through this and responded to it. And so I'm going to go through just like how he went through and responded to my thing, and I'm going to respond to the points here. As always, Botlane. It's just a street in Botland. Okay, so anyway, let's start with this. Bots die way too fast. I totally agree, and that's something that we're going to change. So I think increasing their life from like 1,000 to 2,000 is actually probably a decent starting point for this. We still need to tweak all these values and everything. And you know what? Maybe I should just do that. Maybe we should just, because I have this set to 1,000. It says default bot max life. If I just set this to 1,500 and then start a new game, let's try this out. Let's close out the cosmetics combiner. I don't need this anymore. So I can close out of that too. All right, so health check failed. We gotta wait for the second one to fail. Increase life based on level. Level of what? Because here's the thing. I want every bot's life to be the same. And then instead of you increasing your life, I'd rather you increase regen or armor or you get more healing or something like that. So I think just setting this to 1,500, theoretically, since I increased it by 50%, we'd be increasing a bot's lifespan by 50%. But it doesn't necessarily work out that way. For example, if something was a one-hit kill because it did 1,000,000 damage, then 1,000,000 damage will still be a one-hit kill, and its lifespan will be the same. Okay, anyway, let's refresh this page. So let's connect. Oh, we gotta have 2 players in a game though, otherwise we can't actually have any sort of battling going on. Okay, let's go get 2 players into a game. So that means restarting all of this. Alright, good. So we have Adam 5 versus Adam 2. Sounds good. Now let's equip this bot. Artillery, let's go with an artillery missiles loadout. Where's missiles? Artillery, no, I want level 3 missiles. Artillery, missiles, and armor. So let's go with that one. That's going to be tall bot. And then short bot is going to be, I don't know, melee and thrusters 2 and cloaking 2. Okay, cool. So let's play a game there. And then over here we have, what, missiles and regen. Let's change this to, let's go with lasers and regen 2 and armor 2. I don't know. This doesn't make any sense, does it? Let's go with vampiric lasers, actually. Where is vampiric lasers? Here we go. Okay, cool. So wasp is going to be like life armor. And we're going to give it this code. Figure it out. Update. And then over here, the Quetzalbot is artillery and melee. That doesn't make any sense. Let's go with... I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, let's go with artillery, and I think landmines is going to be a waste. Let's go with artillery and stunning lasers and cloaking. Cool. Okay, great. So we got some bots, and now we're going to play the game. We're going to deploy one of each of these. Whoops. And we're going to deploy, well, for this one, this is going to be a little bit harder to do because as soon as we drag this here, it's going to deploy 3 of them. But there we go. So now let's pick regen. Oops, this needs to be over here. And over here, let's pick increase artillery splash damage. So we've increased all of their life values to 1500. So you can see down here, they start with 1500. And now here's what skirmishes look like. So you can see missiles are doing like hardly any damage. What is this? Missiles level 3? Yeah. Yeah, so I think this is more in line with what I want out of the game. In fact, I think even increasing it another 500 could be pretty good. Because what? Like, this wasp bot, how does this thing end up getting hurt? So it's got armor and it's got vampiric lasers. It did die. Okay. Oh, I'm not deploying the other one. The more HP you have, the more decisions have to be made. Yeah, and the other thing too is there needs to be a death penalty, but I don't think there needs to be. I don't think it needs to be how you win the game. I think it should be indirectly how you win the game. So, for example, take League of Legends. When you die in League of Legends, you just respawn afterward. But your penalty was there's time for you to respawn and get back to where you were, and the enemy team got some experience, which is going to help them win the game eventually, but it doesn't outright win the game. At least not as far as I know. I haven't actually played League of Legends, but if you get like a trillion kills in the game, I don't think you actually win. I think you have to still kill their buildings, right? So, yeah, let's try out a value of 2,000 here. So I just doubled bot's life, which is the same as just having all of the damage values that they would have done. It's mostly the same. Yeah, so let's close out of this. Close out of this. Anyway, getting back to that PDF. Where's the PDF? And now that that's done, we can restart this. I'll join the game again really fast. So what was it? Atom 2 versus Atom 5? Yeah. So I still have the same bots that I had configured before. And we're going to go into repeat mode and just drag these into here. There's 1 and there's 2. Cool. So I got those, and I got actually I'm just going to deploy wasp bots over here. So now they have 2,000 life. I want to see how long a bot like this lives. Yeah, life is at 1571. Oh man, yeah, that is a lot of life. And so now vampiric lasers, you can actually see it healing. I know its life bar is being obscured by the name right now, but yeah. Yeah, I like that. Hey images. Okay, anyway, that's pretty cool. So now let's look at that. So I totally agree with this. And we've always agreed with this, but I just never got around to changing it. So I'd personally like to see them have more HP. Yep, cool. Okay, so that's cool. Is regen and vampiric percent based? No, it's not. And actually, I don't know why I never really. Oh, that's why, because you couldn't change your max life. So vampiric lasers is percent based, but it's based on the damage that you deal, not how much life the other bot has. And Mike, I'm not actually standing right now, but no, it's not. Okay, so this. I think in any game with automation, you're going to find people copy-pasting scripts. Personally, I think this is one of the perks of a game like Botland. It promotes and can build communities around the game. Look at the multitude of sites that are sprung up over other games. However, with a game that automates everything, you'll probably find that competitive players don't share all of their code. So this is an interesting point. there's no real like problem proposed here, and even in my document there wasn't a problem with this. What I want to reiterate here is it comes down to imagine everyone had copy pasted scripts, and that imagine at least someone out there is coming up with pretty competitive scripts that they're sharing. And I think it's pretty likely because you as a player don't have visibility into another player's script, whereas in a game like Hearthstone, you can see all the cards that your opponent plays and eventually rebuild their deck even if they didn't intend to share it with you. But in games like Hearthstone and in games like StarCraft, you have these sites like Delzy mentions just devoted to, hey, here's how your deck should look. Here's how your build order should be. And I think the same would happen in Botland too. Of like, hey, here's basically how to play the game as well as you possibly can without me just being there at the computer showing you how to play it. Anyway, so anyone else who's thinking about Botland game design, just keep in mind that yes, everyone will probably have copy pasted their script. And I'm going to say, imagine that everyone is using a copy pasted script. Okay, so choosing between specialized hardware. So 8 types of a single weapon is not good. When it comes to automation, less is more. So this is actually, I half agree with this. The whole, hey, they're using lasers, so let's try to avoid the same row and column. And it's not technically possible to know that they're using lasers. But the whole point is the individual lasers types can sort of be classified as rock, paper, scissors. So if you were to see that they're using lasers bot and try to counter that, you'd probably put down something like reflect bots. When you see that they're using something like bounce lasers and now your specialized movement pattern can no longer work, they've countered you. Like that's what they've done by doing so. But in the end, I think there are more problems with specialized hardware. So that's why I say I half agree with this. I think, anyway. So I feel there's a compromise between your current design. Let's see. What if there's a laser technology tree which had different tiers of unlocks? So yeah, we're considering something like this, and the way we've been talking about it is there doesn't even necessarily need to be a tech tree. Imagine something like this, where you have a button, and it just says lasers on it. Okay, hang on. Let me do this. So let's say you have a button that says like lasers, you have missiles, you have artillery. So these are all just buttons you can press instead of a tech tree. And I don't know if we're going to go with this idea or not, but still, imagine you had this. And so you press artillery. You end up getting range +1. You press it again. You end up getting damage +10%. And like so on and so forth. You keep powering up your artillery with potentially random buffs, let's say. And so this isn't necessarily a tech tree where you saw like, okay, this node in the tree goes down to this node, which can go over to this node, and maybe there's another path to get there by going through this other set of stuff. But it's still all benefiting because all of these would be synergistic, like pure upside buffs. And I guess my only point there is I don't know how we're going to present buffs yet. We haven't actually totally designed that. But yeah, that's where I mentioned in this document. Let me find the revamp thing. Bot.land there. So this. We haven't finished designing how buffs will work. Buffs will probably fill in the gap that we created by removing specialized hardware. So for example, bounce lasers would have been something that existed. But now that they're not, maybe there's a buff that says your lasers are all bounce lasers. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. This adds an element of luck to the game. Yeah, and I think an element of luck in strategy games is pretty interesting because it makes it so that you never see the same scenario twice. You don't necessarily have to have luck to have that happen, but one thing I didn't totally like about StarCraft, like watching the pro scene, is, oh, yep, he's going the 4 racks, whatever else combination, and so he's probably going to have Marines and Marauders and Medivacs for a little while, and then he'll transition into something else. And it was like, there were these stages in the game and you kind of knew how things were going to happen. Imagine if you got a buff that said like your Marines move twice as fast. You might totally skip getting a total like an entire part of your tech tree because you're like, well, machines are bonkers, or Marines are bonkers now. And I like that idea of having you work with different tools in each game. Hey, Crowport. Okay, so this has some other positive throwbacks. If all 3 different types of hardware had these trees, you could determine how many points a bot had spent in each tree. If I created a laser heavy bot, laser tier, yeah. So I see what you're saying. If all three different types of hardware or types are offensive, defensive, and utility. Yeah. The problem is rock, paper, scissors isn't totally based on like offense is rock and defense is paper. It was more like lasers kind of beat melee because you've already done 3 shots of lasers before the melee bot even makes it to you. So in that sense, an offensive rock beats an offensive scissors. Marine Link Rush. And so the issue with any sort of rock, paper, scissors thing, and I kind of described this here, was, where is it? The whole chaos problem. When your opponent is deploying, and again, imagine that they're just literal rocks, papers, and scissors. When your opponent deploys rock, 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 you know exactly what you have to do. You have to deploy paper. So enemy, you obviously go with paper, right? When your opponent deploys rock, paper, and scissors all at once, what do? Do you go full like rock, 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 and then you're gonna like lose to this individual bot? You're gonna beat this one. You're gonna be neutral against this one. Do you deploy an equally varied strategy of rock, paper, scissors? Do you like what do you do in this case? And something that's interesting to know is the optimal strategy for playing rock, paper, scissors, just the typical game where you only have those 3 choices, is to randomly choose rock, paper, or scissors every single time. And that's it. The only way that there's a more optimal way is if you know that your opponent is using a certain strategy. So for example, if I was always pressing the rock button, then you could always press the paper button and always beat me. But you had to know that I'm doing that. So I don't know what to do about this. And that's why I think the solution around this is investment. Of, hey, you've invested more in rock than you have paper and scissors. So when you see this strategy, you're going to deploy more paper than you are anything else because that's their strongest thing. So you know that these are a little bit weaker, so you don't really care if they're relatively weak scissors is fighting against your paper. So that's my take on this. The victorious solution to rock, paper, scissors is rock, rock, scissors. Yeah. So no compelling reason to own duplicate items. These things are things that, like, I don't think this is a huge problem, but I think it's a minor problem, and I think it's something that, like, would still exist, basically. But yeah, so these are items we could do. One thing I will comment on is add a new bot slot is not a solution we could have unless bots were fixed before a match started. So let's say I give you, and we thought about this a lot. Let's say I give you 1 bot slot and you can change its hardware and its script on the fly. Then you could write a client-side program that gives you infinite bot slots by just changing that and deploying it, and then changing it again and then deploying it again. So if you fix them all beforehand and you say that, yes, this bot will always have lasers, missiles, and cloaking, then adding new bot slots is meaningful. Okay, so researching and research points. I personally don't like this approach for a number of reasons. If the buffs are fantastic and pretty much turn the tide of the battle, then it becomes pretty much mandatory. So this is something, like, the way I envision this is that if you totally ignore what the enemy team is doing and you go full just research mode, you'll run out of scrap. And then, yeah, you'll have really strong bots, but you'll only have like 1 or 2 at a time. So that's why these all need to be balanced as a slot for a bot. Yeah, Thelzy, that's what I'm talking about. So what I'm getting at is right here, imagine if you only had 1 slot here. When you go to play a game, you're already in the queue. No, you're not. Okay, well, that's... I gotta fix that bug. Bug, after a game finishes, the matchmaker thinks you're still in the queue. Or the client does. I don't know what's happening there. Maybe it is just the client. Let's take a look. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Whatever. Let's join a new game. I'll show this off from the very beginning. So I'm gonna connect as Adam, and I'm gonna connect as Adam3, and hopefully, darn it, both of these players have lots of bots. Okay, let's just make a new account here. Register Delzy. Okay, so here's an account with exactly 1 bot. So what I'm getting at is that if you only had this 1 slot, you could write a client-side program that will let you change this on the fly. Imagine I'm doing this at like light speed. That lets you put something like, okay, I need an artillery and lasers bot. I've got it. I hit update and I deploy that bot. I drag it into my bar. Now I need a melee and whatever else bot. So again, imagine this is happening instantaneously. I've got it. I hit update. I deploy that bot. So that's why you need to prevent editing in the game if you're going to have bot slots be meaningful. But that's not a large portion of this PDF, I think. So I'll move on from there. Okay, anyway, research, the way I looked at this, like I said, is that, so research points are something that you could get by just kind of standing around doing nothing. You have an opportunity cost there. And the way that I describe this in here of research is you would be vulnerable for several turns. So imagine if you call the research function, your bot just kind of stands there and maybe like opens up a solar panel or a radar dish or something like that. And then 4 or 5 turns later, it says like done, and here's 5 research points I just acquired. By doing that, the enemy team got like 5 turns that they could have collected scrap, that they could have lobbed artillery at you. And so your research bots are going to be very weak, but then the next bots you deploy could be much stronger, but you won't have the scrap to do it. So that's where I'm trying to come up with this, like, there's a strategic balance here. And if you picture most real-time strategy games, you've got your economy, you've got your army, and well, I guess it comes down to macro and micro in most real-time strategy games of like, how do you control your army and your economy, and then how do you actually manage the individual units you have to say, go to this point and attack here, go to this point and build a building. The problem is that all takes manual interaction. Botland doesn't really have any of that. So I don't know. I wanted to mimic those sorts of systems without actually making it purely a real-time strategy game. Research, gather, engage. Yeah, so Mr. Nazaire, that's exactly what I was thinking of for Botland. And that's why there's this system of like research, that's the research obviously, scrap, which is gathering, and then engaging, which is how you prevent the other team from doing whatever it is they're trying to do. I don't think it's well realized yet though. But anyway, scrap, I like the idea of an in-game currency. Don't like what you propose with regard to having a cost to deploy bots. So the reason I had it cost something to deploy bots is so that there was a penalty for losing your bot. And then this situation here, imagine I'm winning as team A against team B, and we're winning so hard that the enemy team can't collect scrap. So they're spawning 3 bots between the 3 players every X seconds. That means that you won the game. And that's, I think, intentional. So if you picture a game like StarCraft, if you kill 75% of the enemy's base, you're in this situation, right? Where the enemy can't create an army that quickly, and they don't have the economy to do so, so they lose the game. That's what I think would happen here, is if Team A is in this situation and they're winning so hard that the enemy team can't collect scrap, then Team B has lost and is just waiting for that final death knell. Oh, Vespec. No, that's a fine question. I have that in the FAQ, actually. If you've won the game, that's fine, but I was imagining... No. So that's... Win condition says instead of matches always lasting 13 minutes, matches are now won by collecting a certain amount of scrap. If this threshold isn't reached by the end of 13 minutes, then yes, they would have to just pick the higher team. So yeah, matches could last after like 4 or 5 minutes. Or they could end after 4 or 5 minutes. Anyway, deployables. So I think what's interesting here is that these are location-based buffs, essentially. Or in this case, like bots that aren't necessarily bots. And so that's something, whenever I think about implementing a new mechanic game design wise, I think all of these could be performed by bots. I mean, imagine if you had a bot that had an API that just said like nullify mines, and you called that and it just pulsed out this thing and just blew up a bunch of mines in the area. Like, that's something a bot could do. And laser turret is something a bot kind of already does, other than that it can't shoot in 4 directions. And missile turret, of course, is already something a bot can do. So when I think about this, I think, well, why not have bots do this? And to me, what that means is, when we had this concept in the prototype of this game, we called it over deploying. So you could have 3 bots in the arena if you wanted to, but if you spent extra money in the game, not real life money, just extra like scrap, then you could deploy 4 bots or 5 bots. And then by having that large group of bots, sure, at a cost, you could maybe dominate the arena in different ways than you could before. And making them have special hardware on them, I think, can be interesting. So imagine if instead of the hardware that you actually get in the game now, melee and thrusters, you just saw a total of 3 slots here that said like mine nullification. And that's it. That's what that bot did. And because there's no death penalty other than the deploy cost, you could have that thing be in the arena and just be pulsing out this mind nullification until it gets killed. I think that would be really, really cool to do. And actually, it's something that I think we should consider a little bit more. I'm going to write this down. Consider having very special kinds of bots that are temporary and don't affect bot caps. For example, you could deploy a bot that is I don't know. You can deploy a bot that can't, well, its script could say that, I guess. So you could deploy a bot that stands still and shoots lasers. Maybe it has a special kind of hardware that you can only get via these special bots, e.g. mind nullification. Oh yeah, Delzy, no, that's exactly what I wanted the PDF to do as well. Like, so I'm very happy with this, and I also want to give you some points for putting in the time. Like, I really appreciate that. And that's what we need right now, is just a lot of thought in the game design of Botland. Okay, so specialized hardware is mostly removed. I personally think you should avoid the WinX games to unlock hardware or upgrade Y. It could make a player play with a bot with a suboptimal configuration for the sake of an unlock. So I don't actually... We made this play X games in order to unlock Y. Or at least that's what the proposed thing said. So where is this? I wrote it down somewhere. Oh yeah. Specialized hardware that remains is earned by playing a certain number of games. So the reason we said playing is just, you just unlock stuff as you play the game. You don't have to win. You don't have to, I mean, I guess you could lose, which is saying the same thing I just said. But I think that was mostly a way for you to just have something on your account, because the monetization model changed too there. But yeah. Okay, so I like the buff system, although to confirm all 6 players. So that's not actually how this worked, and it's not how it probably will work. The way it works now is, and I think we might have talked about this earlier, but player A might get buff choices like 1, 37, and 42. Let's just say these are random numbers that you get. You, as player B, might get buff choices like 17... I typed 16, 17, 21, and 37. So you're getting a buff that someone else saw. But then the next time player A would have gotten a buff, they cannot get any of the numbers that they've already seen before. So they might get like 2 and 36 and 38 or something. That's how it used to work. The way I think it will work eventually is that buffs will be purchased either with scrap, which is the in-game currency, or it'll be obtained via research points. The ones you get via scrap would be temporary. The ones via research points would be permanent. And again, I don't know how flimsy that design is, but let's go back to this. Oh yeah, so this is definitely going to happen. Like, I expect the API to be expanded. I don't think it'll happen until probably after release. So which team am I on? Totally something that we're going to add. That's fine. Get number of scrap piles within my site radius. That's probably something that we'll wait until after release, because that's like I'd say it's an advanced API. But anyway, add a new classification of gameplay, quick match versus ranked match. So the way that Delzy was talking about this is that in quick match, you could edit things during a match. In ranked match, you'd go in with a preset collection of bots that you'd come up with. What used to work, if you go to azure.bot.land, that's actually how things used to work here. So when you connected, I don't know what my password is. It's a randomly generated password, and I don't think I have access to this anymore. I can't show you this UI. Okay, well, whatever. Yeah, well, anyway, when you used to go into here, you used to have to say, like, imagine this UI over here. You used to say, okay, here are all my bots. I've got all of these. These are the only options I'm going to have during the match. So this one, for example, that has lasers, regen, and cloaking, I couldn't change these during a match. So anyway, I think it's interesting. I think anytime you add new game modes to any game, you are splitting your player base at least a little bit. So if even 5 players want to play quick match, then that's 5 players that aren't playing ranked match at the time. which means you need a very large player base to be able to support this. Alternatively, if only 5 players are playing quick match, that might mean that their queue times are incredibly long, and they say, why do I even have this game mode if it's never running? Yeah, Azure was essentially like the, sort of, if you could consider it the prototype, then it was the prototype. So, okay, thank you again, Telzy, for going through that. And I think, I don't know, I think it was a very tall order for me to ask really anyone to read this, because this is a very long document. And I don't know. For anyone who does want to take a look at it, like, there it is. I think the proposed design is not great, but anyway, okay. So we've increased the amount of life that each bot has. Also, when I hit the play button, are we still stuck there? Yeah, we are. So why is that happening? Oh my god. I have function lock on my keyboard. So the server responded with 409 conflict. I'll be right back. I'm going to turn on the fan. Okay. Where's play.bot.lam pointing? Possibly nowhere. It was intended to point at Amazon, but I never figured out how to do that. I got to talk to EJ at some point. So just screw that up. Vespa, thanks for following. Thanks. Okay, so bots are rendering with the incorrect offsets. I think I just fixed that problem, right? Pretty sure I fixed that problem. Oh, this is annoying. Okay, well, let's go change the endpoint monitor so that instead of waiting 15,000, this is 1,000. Okay, now let's restart everything in the system. Woo. Alright. There we go. Nice. So everything registered with the overseer. Now when we refresh these pages, we should be in a clean slate. So we connect as Adam2. And hey, Weebly. We connect as Adam5. So we're going to play with both of these. Good. I'm just going to deploy some random bots here. I don't really care what we're getting. Why did I even do this? Oh yeah, the bug, the offsets of the bots, right. So Fire in general is rendering it weird offsets, it's like too far to the left. Okay, let's go fix that. I think we can just delete this. No, we can't. That won't work. What am I talking about? We need to say like get center of minus the fire sprites, minus fire sprite dot. So where's util? I think another cool API feature would be if you're able to edit other bots in game. Tank bot gets hit, it'll change the equipment of another bot and deploy. So images, I want to avoid having automation-based solutions to the game design issues. And the big reason for that was the whole, imagine that everyone in the game copy-pasted scripts. Like, oh man. So there is certainly a world where I release Botland and it's aimed at coders. And when that's the case, I think there's a lot of ways that Botland can change to be very exciting for like coders and programmers. But this is not that world. This is the world where I'm releasing Botland to a generalist audience of strategy gamers. And in this world, I think people are daunted by programming. So when they see a script that looks like this even, which is very readable, it's like, hey, missiles, artillery, sensors, and moving. Then they say, I don't know what to do here. Like, I don't want to manage this. And when they see this, they're like, well, now I definitely don't know what I'm doing. So we keep things really simple, and we just give them the, hey, figure it out for me. And that's that. And so tweaking other people's code or changing things on the fly, they'll have just copy pasted online. Hey, Miguel. And yeah, Thalzy, I agree. It is nice. I mean, artillery was meant to be like the beefy weapon that does a lot of damage. And it still does. I believe it does, what, like 600 damage or something? Artillery... Yeah, 600 damage and 30 splash damage. So it's still really powerful. But now it doesn't wipe you out in 2 hits. So that's pretty nice. I think I've heard about this. I think I've been to this site before. What in the world? Like, the UI is pretty crazy here. What? What am I doing? Okay, no. I'll have to look at this later if I haven't already. Add to list of games. Images said my internet cut out. Yeah, Images. The short story is I don't think automation should be used to solve the game design problems that Botland has, and the reason why not is because then it targets coders more. Illegal Alan says, I've been working on my game for the past 3 weeks, but now I haven't even felt like I want to work on it the past 8 or 10 days. What should I do? So Illegal Alan, when that happens, I suggest taking a vacation. Mr. Internet says, have you heard of Carnage Heart? Yeah, I have. And I hadn't heard of it until like 4 or 5 months into the prototype of this game. And then I looked it up, and it's pretty interesting. They use a very visual way of programming. I've never played it, but I watched some YouTube videos on it. And yeah, Smooth Dog, I know. I haven't gotten any of that stuff. Can bots escape slow-moving projectiles? Yes, but they can't know that they're about to land. So, for example, you can see artillery firing very slowly up here. If this bot were to move, it would only get hit by the splash damage. But it can't, there's no way for it to detect that there's a projectile traveling toward it. And maybe in the future we add that. But then I think the problem is that everyone puts at the top of their script, like this is your script, right? Everyone puts at the top, if I'm about to be hit by a shell, then move. And that's not really engaging code to write. So I don't know if I would do that. Oh, see you, Louis. Thanks for the dual host. Alright. Haven't touched the game for the past 8 or 10 days. So, no, Illegal Alan, you took what I considered to be a guilt vacation, which is you feel bad about not having done it. That's very different from mindfully saying, I'm not going to work on this thing because I'm recharging. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that after another 8 or 10 days of mindfully taking a vacation that you all of a sudden say, oh boy, I really want to work on that game. It's possible that you just don't like the game idea anymore, and that's totally fine. It all depends on what you're trying to commit to. Why do the yellow bots on the top lane shoot projectiles to angle at the... That's because projectiles like lasers and missiles only exist on the client. So, okay, good. That bug is fixed, thank goodness. So, let's take a look at what happened here. So this is what Wooden Potato Wedges is talking about. So there was a bot that shot at another bot, but it angled the projectile upward or downward to hit it. Like, just happened there, actually. The reason that happens is because, like I said, on the server, projectiles are instantaneous. So as soon as you call fire lasers, you've already hit the enemy and you've already dealt damage. But if that were the case on the client, you'd be like, well, what? My life bar is going down and I have no idea why. So we make it so that projectiles always curve toward wherever the target is. And I have 2 monitors, and thanks for hosting me, Images. Yeah, Illegal Alan, that's mostly what I think. And again, this is just my suggestion. It may not work for you. I don't know. Let's see, Pro Sam. Okay, so test bots being on fire. How does that look right now? Yeah, it's still too far to the left. So that's where I had left off here. So fire spray dot. Oh, and then I was looking at util, and then I got asked a bunch of questions, which is totally fine. I just got sidetracked. So dot width. So we need to set center X, and we don't have anything for that. dot width divided by 2. And then the same thing over here. And height divided by 2. Let's try that out. But the bot was in the top lane and it shot even further up. Oh, it might have only been the top because it was at the top of my screen maybe. So maybe it looked like this and it fired upward. But if I zoom out, you can see that there's actually another entire row up there. I'm not sure wooden potato wedges. But it shouldn't have ever, no projectile should ever go outside of the arena. No problem, Alan. Have you slowed down the move speed per round? It all looks like in slow mode. No, that's all the same still. It might look like it's going slower just because there are fewer things. I bet if I were in a 2v2 match instead of a 1v1, that it would look like there's more. Anyway, so fire should be fixed. So let's check this out. So we connect. And now, like I said, fire should be at the right spot on a bot. It's not really. But I guess that depends on the center of the bot sprite being in the center of the coordinate system as well. So let's take a look at the bots, or the fire sprite, excuse me. And yeah, noob, I agree with that, and we will eventually do that. I'm just not going to do it yet. Yeah, so no, the center of this image is the center of the fire sprite as well. So why is this not working correctly? Oh, display fire component is not the same as an explosion, is it? No, it's in here. Let's just search for minus. Nah, this isn't gonna work. Explosion. Create explosion equals true. If create explosion, create at the center of that. So we need to go look at that. Create explosion. Make explosion assemblage at X and Y. Aha! Aha! That's the problem. So explosion assemblage. Oh. Wait, what? X minus. No, that should already be working then. Something's wrong though. Sprite component, sprite, get sprite component at that component. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess. Get center X and Y. Okay, right? The center of the explosion. And then in here, X minus explosion width divided by 2. Yeah. I don't know what's going on then. So then, what do we do with this? We just add it as an entity. And I guess it just has a sprite. Yeah, images, something like that is something that I think is a nice quality of life feature that will probably eventually be in the game. Unfortunately, it probably won't be in the game for several months. One of the things that's interesting about Botland is that, and so I don't want this in the game until the release, but something that's interesting about Botland is you could just click the auto join button and then come back like 3 days later and find out that you won 40% of the games you were in. Because it's an automation game, so your bots can just redeploy themselves for the entirety of the game. You shouldn't win a lot of matches. That would mean that we designed the game poorly. And Mr. Internet, there are quite a lot, but some of them just won't even matter if we change the design of the game. So for example, let's say there was a bug when you bought hardware. Well, we might be removing the ability to purchase hardware completely. And in that case, I would just like rip out this entire page and never use it again. And that's the problem with changing game design after you've already started development. If you're not mindfully just prototyping it, then you might waste time. So we have render explosion sprites, which is things with sprite and is explosion. Do we ever use this anywhere else? Update explosions. No. Alright. Do we have any other weird offsets here? Remove this unused code is red. What? How is it even still there? Yeah, it's just camera.render sprite. Man, so something's wrong about these positions. I gotta figure out what. Yeah, take a look at this. Fire is rendering up here. Now, as we know from this graphic, there's the fire, which is however many pixels, and then there's like a whole other section for fire to appear. So it's not like this darkened coordinate here is this point. It's really like up here somewhere. Oh, which is the center of a... No, I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, well, here's what we can do. We can just put a breakpoint and create explosion and figure out what's happening. So arena, create explosion. There we go. Okay, so the X and Y is 470 and 344. And why might that be? Let's figure out where the bot is. Sprite. Wait, what? I can't access this? Undefined. What, everything's undefined? What? But the, what? X and Y exists here. This can't be correct. And there's no way that this went out of scope already. Yeah, none of this exists for some reason, except for that. What? Hey, Sick, how's it going? Well, yeah, images, I think this is a tough thing to talk about just at face value, because in most games you might be like, okay, auto join me, and yeah, pop-up might be helpful. In Botland, you might have someone who, if you give them this feature, they might not care about their win or loss ratio, but they might just leave their computer on for like hours and hours and hours and hours. And that costs me money because they're using our servers. So I don't know. I don't know how exactly it would work. Can you just set the fire center point to be the tile center point as opposed to the sprite? No, I can't, because bots might be offset a little bit. I've tried that before and it ends up looking pretty weird. But thank you, Discord. And that actually, like, I had that idea too at one point, and I thought, what a great idea. And it does work if they're stationary, like, that's okay. So I don't know what's going on here. This thing has to exist for us to be in here, but then it went out of scope and something's weird. It must be a transpile code thing, or source maps, or I don't know what. Anyway, these things exist, so let's go into here. So explosion sprite is the explosion texture. Width is 120, height is 114. Is that correct? Width is, yep, 120 and 114. Huh. Hey Hydra, I've been well. Just got back from vacation. It was a good vacation. Okay, so all of this looks correct. So we're going to end up creating the explosion at 470, 344. Wait, no we won't. No, we're going to create it at 410, 287. Yeah, and those parameters, that's correct, but then something makes it look wrong eventually. I don't know what's happening. Okay. Well, how do we fix this? So this thing's never going to work again. Wow, Melee is wrecking these bots. I think partially because the Melee bots also have cloaking. No, Hydra, you never need to apologize. How's your job going? Do you like it? Well, there are very few other things that this could be. I guess I should just draw some graphics somewhere and try to figure out what points are where these things are happening. You know what I should do? I should change the graphic itself so that it's very obvious where this thing starts and ends. So yeah, let's go into here. Let's take this and we'll, oh come on. How does this work? Pencil, there we go. So let's put a black tile up there. Actually, that's bad because we already use the color black for artillery. We use red for missiles, we use green. So we don't use blue. We also don't use white. We don't use bright white. Let's use that. There. Okay, now let's re-export this. Maybe make fights cost energy. You get energy every day. So yeah, wooden potato wedges, that's what we have proposed in the new design. And that would mitigate that. Hydra, that's great. Always warms my heart to hear something like that. Oh, my wife is calling right now. Hey, hang on a second. Okay, well, my wife called and she told me in like the weirdest way. She's driving with a friend. Well, her friend was driving. So she said, my friend got in a car accident. And I thought, like, okay, is she alright? Like, are things critical? And then she said, no, I was in the car when my friend was driving. So she said, what should I do? I said, well, are you hurt? She said, she was kind of like jerked around a bit. They got hit from behind. And she said it was, I don't know, it was like minor. And I said, I don't know if it's mine or not. I don't know what you do in this situation, but I said, I think you should go to urgent care. I don't think it's like emergency room bad or anything. Anyway, I don't know. What do you guys suggest? Because I just said go to urgent care. And we don't know how insurance works with this sort of thing. And like, uh, so I missed a bunch of chat messages. Sorry, my mind. Anyway, if she calls again, I'm gonna answer. Like I said, my wife, she knows I stream. I have always told her like, look, I can't text or anything while I'm streaming. Yeah, I'll read chat. Let me. I don't think anyone's hurt. I asked her briefly. I think everyone's fine. And like I said, if she calls again or she says like, hey, I got, whatever. Anyway, I'd try to displace this from my mind for a little bit so I could just stay on the stream. Adam just got an idea about the hardware slots for the bots. How about having different kind of blueprint tier lists that you have to research? And with each upper tier list, you have more slots and maybe other modules. So, Mr. Internet, we tossed this idea around. And one of the problems I think, so what we had this idea originally, like research points would give permanent buffs and scrap would buy you temporary buffs. And by the way, I'm not scrolling down in chat yet, so I can't see what you guys are saying. Research points give you permanent buffs. So we're like, well, what if instead of permanent buffs, what if we instead said research points give you access to more slots? So each player starts with 3 and works their way up to 7. So that's a way of kind of building in power using a system that you already know about. One of the reasons I don't totally like that is because imagine that you're creating a bot and you're like, okay, well, only the first 3 slots matter on this bot. So you've got 3 and you're like, okay, I guess I'll just go with full artillery. So like here are the slots that I have, artillery. Now you get 4 slots and you're like, well, I want 2 artillery now that I have 4 slots and then 2 melee. So you have to go into all of your bots as soon as you level up and be like, oh, reconfigure. And I don't like that idea. And I know there's UI ways to work around that, but I think it's too much management of like just accounting for having different slots. But yeah. I hate Twinkly. And no problem with lurkers. I hate Wraithy. And yeah, thanks everyone. And Twinkly, thanks for following. She's not in a hospital. From what it sounded like, she called me from the scene of the accident. And that's what I asked her. I said, look, you don't know if it's a concussion or anything. I didn't ask if she was dizzy, but I asked like, hey, did you hit your head? And I think she just said like, she was, I mean, I hope she was wearing a seatbelt, but she was probably like jerked forward as soon as they got hit. I don't know. Hey, Slovenian Devil. What's with the lights? That's on the FAQ page. Yeah, I'm gonna text her really fast and just say, look, keep me updated on this. Sorry, I like never do this on stream. I use my phone only when something important happens. Who called me? It was my wife, and she said she was in a minor car accident. And I mean, she sounded fine. She didn't sound like she was in any major danger, but yeah. Hey, are you feeling dizzy or anything? Let me know how urgent care. Tell her to join the chat. All right. So I'm still, yeah. I think from how she sounded, I think she's gonna be okay. I just still, it's just so weird when she's like, my friend got in a car accident. And I'm like, okay. Is everything all right? Like, and then she said, no, I was in the car. Anyway, okay, so where I left off was this whole create explosion thing. Oh yeah, that's what I was doing. I put the white pixel on the bot so that I could figure out, okay, yeah, let's try this out. Well, I did talk to her, and I mean, she would definitely tell me if there was something more to worry about, like I have a huge gash on my arm or something like that. Okay, so I don't see a white pixel there. This problem happened before too. I think it's because it's caching things, probably very aggressively caching things. How do we clear that cache? App cache internals. There. So now when I refresh the page, oh nice. Okay, so check it out. So we can see exactly the points, the upper left coordinate of where this fire is being created, because the sprite now looks like this, such that it has a very clear marker of where the upper left is. And the upper left does not correspond to really anything, right? Actually, this is lined up really well with the tile, so that part's fine. It's just when it hits a bot, I guess. Oh yeah, so artillery is fine. It's missiles that aren't. And given that the y coordinates are different, it probably has to do with that. So let's think about this. The center of this sprite might be there. Yeah, something's wrong here. Oh, wait, is this the issue? It's a chase component. Target entity. Oh, I see what's going on. So it's where the missile targets. Oh, so the missile is targeting the wrong thing. Oh, that's the issue here. Okay. Yeah. So remember the entity, the explosion is created based on the position of the projectile that exploded. So if anything, in Tekliko. Yeah, thanks Tricky Train. No, and I think that's what this is, and that's why I don't want to unnecessarily worry. I think things are going to be fine, and I think, yeah, all right. Well, if she texts me from urgent care and says yes, something's bad, then yes, I'm turning off the stream and I'm leaving. But I think things are going to be fine. The explosion is created based on the position of the projectile that exploded. So if the coordinates are wrong, then it is likely not the fault of this particular code. All right, so what is it the fault of? Well, this all comes from chase target, and chase target has dest pixel x. So get center x of the target sprite. Target entity gets sprite component minus sprite dot width divided by 2. What's sprite? So these must be wrong. This is not the center of the target. We need to know our sprite offset in order to properly align ourselves. So let's see. Target sprite gets center x minus sprite dot width divided by 2. And that sounds correct. And chase pixels is called. Reach destination. Dest pixel x, dest pixel y. I don't know. I just don't know. Okay, what if I did this? What if I just created explosions always at the destination to see if that was actually correct? No, it would just be the center of the target sprite is where we want to create this. This is really what things should look like. Let's just try that. This is going to look super weird. And I'm going to configure this so that it just doesn't even have artillery anymore. There. Okay, great. Let's take a look. So now explosions are going to show up like crazy. Yeah. Now, are they in the right spots? Like, no, not really. So that's the issue then. What is the center of these sprites? Like, if I just open this image in new tab, center should be like here-ish. Adam, what are you trying to do? Hey, Kukuruku. I'm just trying to get this explosion to be centered on the bots correctly. Adam, you're now Michael Bay. Does look pretty cool to have an explosion shadow like that. Not like it has any function in the game. Not X. I don't know. I just don't know. It's okay. Well, it's too far to the left. That's what I'm seeing. And actually, it looks like it's also too low on the tall bots. Yeah, so there's no way this is... I don't know how to do this then. Let's take a look. Could it be this? Pixie sprite opposition at X plus width divided by 2 plus height divided by 2. No, that stuff's fine. Is the explosion centered in its bounding box? Yeah, it is. I already checked into that. So this is... Wait a second. The easiest way to do this is actually in Paint. So we just draw a line like this, and then we move this line over to here. Yeah, it's like more or less centered. I mean, there's a little bit of wiggle room, but it's probably like this general area somewhere in there is the center, and I think that would look fine. You could try to centralize the explosion image using the center of the explosion. Hey Mario. Yeah, I mean, what I could do, I have no idea why I even have the explosion being this large of an image. Like, there's no reason why I can't just do this. Oh, whoops. Get rid of that. There. Right? Like, I think this is... We could just try exporting this now. And then we need to clear Chrome's app cache. Chrome app cache internals. Remove item and refresh. Okay, so that did not work because it's still showing the white pixel there. Why would it be doing that? I cleared the cache. Oh, now it's gone. Okay. Yeah, I still think this is wrong. Why is this so difficult? I think it might look better. This Y coordinate is just totally wrong. Night mode, botland. What is this though? We need to know our sprite offset in order to properly align ourselves. So I don't know what I meant by this. We need to know our sprite offset. different offsets in different tiles. I don't think it's that it's in different tiles. I think it's that different bots have different offsets there. So the height of this bot is larger. And again, if we go look at that image, open image in new tab. What did I mean by this? We need to know our sprite offset in order to properly align ourselves. So I'm trying to create it that just target sprite center X and center Y. And what does it want to be? Again, let's just, how about this? Let's cut out the explosion graphic entirely and just make it a rectangle, a perfect rectangle. How big is this image? Yeah, let's just make it 64 by 64. And like I said, we'll just make it a perfect rectangle. There. Great, cool. So we have a white rectangle. We just paste that in here. Why are you using target sprite and sprite.width, sprite.height? So sprite.width and sprite.height is the projectile, which actually that's going to change eventually, but for right now it doesn't matter, I think. Why is this not the size of the clipboard? Okay, so now let's remove what is going on. Alright, delete that, except for we need transparency here. There we go. Alright, great. So here's our new missile graphic, or explosion graphic, I mean. Looks great. Atom art, everybody. Now let's clear the cache again. Chrome app cache. What, there is nothing in the app cache. Also, what's going on over here? Atom 2 and Atom 5. Okay. Yeah, a pixel in the center might have been a good idea. It's a little late for that now. Okay, now nothing's showing up. Oh, that's wonderful. I made that white, and then I exported it as explosion. Is there a 404 or something? Nope. Let's try again. I just broke explosions, I guess. There's explosion. Yeah, it's not loading. How did I do that? Is there? Yep, there it is. Get. Huh. And it's not returning a 404. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. Or, oh, wait a second. What was that? They look like they were all showing at the bottom left really quickly there. Oh, no. I don't know what I'm doing at this point. Also, I wonder how I managed to screw this part up. That's more or less the center, right? I guess I should probably make that in a slightly different color. Hey, cool. Okay, so that was a good idea. So let's take a look at what's happening here. I should draw a box around this sprite. Maybe this sprite has weird boundaries. Just so strange. Yeah, let's tint the whole thing completely black. Sprite.tint equals OX or what FFOOO. But no, it's not gonna tint. Darn it! I need to change the sprite sheet dictionary so that when it creates these images, wait, convert hex to RGB array 0 to 1. That's not what we want. Get colorized sprite. Hey, Anonymous. Yeah, I do plan on having the health bar stay there. So we have this shader.frag. We could change this so that if A is 0, check this out, we'll do this. If A equals 0, then A equals 1.0. Wait, what? That's not what I want, is it? No, that's not what I want at all. If base color dot A equals 0, base color dot RGBA equals, how do I do this? Is there a way to set them all at once? One? I don't know. Let's just set them individually since I know for sure I can do that. GBA. Okay. So it'll be bright pink. Let's try that out. This might have been cached, so it might not work. Oh, cool. That's actually super weird. I mean, it makes sense. So now what I want to find out is the background of everything. So I guess it's the container. Container, add child, base sprite. Oh man. I wonder if I could. I wonder if there's a better way to do this. The container is just going to contain those three things. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this. Hey, Remy. Where did my bots go? There they are. Alright, whatever. I gotta come up with a better way to do this. I don't know why I'm like dragging my feet so much on this. I think what I should do is I should put a bot at the very first tile and just figure out what are its coordinates. Foo flame. I don't know what's going on there. And even the life bar is showing up in a weird spot. Get center X of the sprite minus tile size divided by 2. That can't be right. Let's try this. I'm just going to put it at the center X and Y. We already know that it's offset to the left for some reason. I just don't know why yet. Okay, that looks really bad. I'm gonna change this. Alright, so life var component. We have like a get graphics, right? Yeah, here. So we can just set width to like 10 and height to 10. So now it'll just draw a square. Yeah, and this is where it thinks the center is, which is done some weird coordinate system. I don't understand why. Like, what is that even the center of? Nothing I can tell. Right there. What is that? Yeah, it's not the center or anything. The container has some weird coordinates. How about this? Every time we create a bot, let's just set its tile x to 0. And its tile y to 0. So every bot will render there. And then when we get a move bot command, we just won't do anything. There. Okay, this is going to look really weird. So all bots should render at the upper left. Yeah, there they are. We need to get rid of this div. Okay, so all bots are rendering at the upper left now. And now what I want to do is figure out just what are the coordinates of that. So let's print them out. Actually in... So xy is going to be graphics.x, graphics.y. This is going to spam me with roughly the same coordinates. There are two different bots there, so it'll actually, yeah, a couple of weird coordinates. So it's saying over 22, down 38. And I think that fits in line with what I'm seeing here. So if we cut out just this, tiles are supposed to be 64 by 64. So that's the size of this image, I believe. Oh, 117 by 117 because I zoomed in weirdly. Darn it. It's going to be annoying. I had to make sure not to zoom in. Yeah, that's 64 by 64. And so it's saying that at 22, over 23, down 38. So over 23 and down 38 is this coordinate. Yeah. Okay. So then I understand that this is not a problem due to like tile offsets or anything. It's literally just this right here. Get center x of sprite is returning 22 point something. What's that value? Yeah, this. Oh my god. Can't even copy paste that. Okay. And it should be, well, I don't even know what it should be. Something like this maybe. Like 3726. Actually, you know what? Kind of looks like these things are just totally reversed. Like this should say get center y and this should say get center x. And then it would just look correct. But that can't be the case. The only way that could be the case is if I screwed up a width or a height somewhere. And I would have noticed that unless I had squares everywhere. It's going to be really embarrassing if that ends up being the case. Oh, would you look at that? So that looks pretty good, right? So is that what the problem is somehow? No, 3232 would be the center of the tile. We want explosions to show up the center of the bot. That way short bots have explosions on their bodies and large bots have explosions, you know, higher up. Okay, yeah, that's super weird. So that would indicate that I did something wrong here. X plus width, Y plus height. Okay, so that's fine. Yeah, that is fine. Okay, so it's not that function. And then setting the graphics here, I don't think it can be this. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't know what's going on. I just don't understand. Okay, what if I deployed those short bots? So here are the really short bots. What does this look like? No, it's too high up on the bot. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Like, this should be much lower. So I don't know why this taking me like so long to figure out. Just one of those days, I guess. I gotta keep deleting this thing too every time I want to test this. I should just get rid of that entirely. Weird. We can do -5 so that's actually centering on it. Alright, well, I think this has to do with the sprite then. So let's take a look. When we create the bot, we create a special sprite component for it, right? Where is that? This new bot sprite here. Bot sprite equals composeBot.allContainer. So this all container probably has some weird coordinates about it. Let's just put a debugger here. So if we break in at that point, I'll close out of that and then break in. So again, here's what this looks like. And now we just kill the bots and it breaks in. And so bot sprite dot all container or dot width is 354. Oh, because we have a scale applied to it. Oh man. No, you gotta be kidding me. So this is off by a factor of like 8? That wouldn't make any sense. Oh, why didn't I do this before? So width and height is 354 by 3, so 354 by 394. Oh man. Or 390. So scale is 0.125. Yeah, so when you get the center X of something, you actually need to figure out what the scale is first. Otherwise, none of that's going to work, huh? But then, why? The part that doesn't make any sense. Okay, wait, let's take a look. So that function is... Where did util go? Here. It's just position plus width divided by 2. But that does not take the scale into account. So what should be responsible for taking scale into account? The caller or the function itself? Well, let's put it in here. No, we can't do that. Techno hipster with light up suspenders. Yeah. Util lib index. So get center X. We're going to do this. So it's width times pixie sprite dot scale dot X. And here it's height times pixie sprite dot scale dot Y. Okay, let's try that out. Got to get rid of this bar, or I just got to put this on a different tile. I guess let's put it at 2, 0. Create bot. Or 2, 2 even. That should be fine. So that should put it right there, which zooming in on should look fine. Nope. Alright, thanks, Thelzy. Alright. So now we end up with this coordinate way over here. And the -5s are for a different purpose. It was so that the health bar would center over the thing I'm trying to highlight here. So what do we do here? What do we do? Okay, just to make sure I didn't do anything like really stupid here. I'm going to put a divided by. I think this is going to throw everything wildly out of proportion because it's really going to multiply by 8, which will put it like much farther away. Yeah, now it's way down there. Okay, yeah, so that's definitely not right. Let's write in this case that all container. I wonder if it's helpful to look at anything else about this. Yeah, I think so. Oh, or maybe this already takes width and height differences into account. Oh, I didn't think about that. Oh man, which means scale would have nothing to do with this any longer. Okay, here goes. So let's see. So bot sprite.width is 364. After changing the scale, yeah, it takes it into account automatically. But it says that the scale, its width is 45 pixels? I guess that's correct. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, what about the position.x though? Is 0. Oh, because I haven't positioned it yet. There we go. 128. So it's positioned at 128. So 0, 64, 128 would be right there. Oh, that's why it's too far to the left. That's weird. What's centering that? Sprite component has offset x and y. We just pass that in when we make a new sprite component. New sprite component, bot sprite, and offset x and y set to 0 and 0. Yeah, that's correct. Weird. Yeah, very weird. Unless, oh man, I think I know what's going on. Okay, I think I finally understand this. I'm positioning the foot sprite based on, yeah, okay, I know what's going on. Right here, leg X and leg Y. I need to know what those coordinates are, otherwise this can't work. Okay, so the problem is that the container itself is positioned at 0, 0, and the individual components are positioned based on the arena X and Y of the foot. Hey, law beginner. Yeah, so that's the problem. What's the solution? leg container not position not set. Sprite doesn't start until about like 160, 128. Or no, not even 128. Well, 160, 100. Well, there are a couple of things that I could do here. So yeah, let's close out of all of this. So solution number one, position the container such that 0, 0 in the container is the upper left of the head. So right now, how it's a bunch of padding. The upside to this is that functions like getCenterX will work appropriately. The downside is that I will need to position the container at an offset according to the leg coordinates. How is the sprite higher than the container? I don't think I'm correct in saying that. No. That is right. Because in here, I just keep adding a bunch of other values. So eventually this could be offset by a negative amount, and that's totally fine. Anyway, so yeah, solution number one is position the container such as 0, 0 in the container is the upper left of the head as opposed. I think this is the only solution. This kind of sucks. This is gonna break everything. And there are a lot of places, and many pieces of code use this. Not many pieces of code. Both the client and the cosmetics combiner use this code. Alright, what would this look like? And am I at a point where I can make this change and not feel like I'm gonna screw everything up? That's fine. That's not gonna get checked in. This was me starting to work on this stuff. These are probably actually fixes. That totally doesn't matter. That doesn't matter too much either. Doesn't matter, okay. You need to take the offset into account when calculating the center. Isn't that easier? Well, that means that I need to change the function that I have here. So this is just some utility function. Like if I change this to getCenterX and then I potentially passed in some weird offsets, then that's going to be problematic. Whereas if I store that in the sprite itself, alright, well let's try it out. So we start here. Let's close out of the rest of these things. So we start here. Leg X and leg Y. So we have these positions. We want to make this such that the head always ends up with an offset of 0, 0. So everything would just work down from there. So this is just a sort of dependency. Okay, let's try this. So leg X minus equal head X. Torso X minus equal head X. And then we'll do the same thing with the Y coordinates. And then finally, we'll do the same thing over here too. With, oh darn it, read only. And finally, head x minus equal head x. So head x equals 0 is really what we're doing here. And head y equals 0. Doesn't Pixie Sprite come with an offset? It has a position. It might also come with an offset. I'm not sure. Let's go take a look. It has position. It has anchor. Sets the origin point of the texture. That's another way I could possibly do this. Is set the anchor to over half and down all the way to 1. I think that would cause some weird things to happen. Anyway, let's try this out. So this is gonna offset everything again. So let's take a look. We connect over there, we connect over here. We play the game. Okay, cool. But now I bet the center of that is going to render correctly. And the weird thing here is that I don't see anything rendering. What did I break? Until that gets center X. Oh, I know what I broke. It was in node modules. Get center X. This stuff is totally wrong. There. Okay, try it out. Okay, so that's still wrong. What is going on here? Like, this offset looks to be about correct. What I guess I expect here is, I guess I expect Atom 5 to do this so that we have the same bots that we had before. There we go. So yeah, now things the center's over here. So let's put some breakpoints there again. Just put this at the bottom of all of this. There we go. Okay. So bot sprite dot width. Width is 45.5. That's probably correct. We could verify that by just looking at this. Is this about 45.5? Yes, it's 46 pixels. So that sounds correct. So that's good. Well, actually, let's figure out what the height is supposed to be too. I'm sure that's also correct because I doubt that one dimension is just wrong. This should be 76. And what is it? 76. Okay, great. Now position.x, that's 128, and position.y is also 128. So, and that's the issue. Oh yeah. This is correct. The problem is that this needs to be moved up and over, which would put the center of this bot in the right spot. Okay, so now it's just about solving that second problem. We don't technically have this composed bot any longer afterward. Oh. Okay, we could fake it by getting what the original head x equals, or like offset x equals head x, offset y equals head y, and then we just pass these back. And then we save this off somewhere. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's do this. Compose bot dot offset x, compose bot dot offset y. That might be it. That might be all I have to do, and then I fix everything, and that was super easy. But it's possibly not the case. It definitely seems as though this is better. I mean, not better, sorry. I meant the opposite of better. I meant the same. Yeah. So what happened here now is that my source maps got screwed up. I wonder if there's a way to make that not happen. Maybe that'll work. X and Y are already in the reverser plugin. X, Y, X, Y, X, Y. There we go. Okay, so let's try this again. Compose bot dot offset x. It's 236 and negative 97. Oh, that's got to be multiplied by the scale. But what? This thing didn't even use these. Sprite component? We have an offset x and y and we just don't use them. I guess we should just use them. Alright, so here's what we can do. We can do a couple things. One, we can say const scale equals 0.125. We set that. We change this. Times scale. Okay, perfect. Then we make use of that scale. So, ready for this? Yeah, so this needs to be changed. So we need to say sprite dot position dot x plus equal sprite. Oh my god. Equals the sprite component dot offset x. Okay, cool. So we do this, and then we subtract it at the end, and everything works. Right? Let's try it out. I'm gonna figure this out. Okay, so we just deploy this into the arena, and I don't see it rendering anywhere. Oh, there it is. Oh, it kind of worked. Wait, what? Okay, the bot's in the correct spot, but that square is still in the wrong spot. Yeah, I didn't actually fix anything. Do I just... Okay, here's what we can try. We can offset everything else by the offset of that sprite. In fact... Darn it. Darn it. We need to consider as though this is the offset. And then everything will be based on that. But then what would I have done here? Pretty much nothing. Wait, no. Or I would have done everything. Okay, let's try this. I know what I have to do. This. We get rid of this. We change to that. This. Bot spray dot position dot x plus equal compose bot dot offset x times scale. There. That's it. We just change it forever. And now everything will cease to work. Darn it. Okay. So what I'm afraid of here, let's put a breakpoint here and see if my fears are warranted. What's going on? Did not pick up this debugger. Ah, now it did. Okay, so compose bot dot offset x times scale. So 29.5 and negative 12. So let's say 30 and negative 12. And then let's try something. 30 and negative 12 minus 30 plus 12. Let's see. I don't think that's correct. That's like half a tile over. Yeah. No, it's not. So bad. Okay, there. I did it. This isn't a solution. This is the band-aid. I've got to come up with these numbers dynamically, which it's not hard to do that. I just need to figure out the best way to do this. Like, everything needs to be based on... I don't know. I don't know how to even say this. When I draw the bot here, I want to get half of that, but I want it to be based on its center coordinate. How is that not the case? Oh, because it's still positioned at... No. Oh, I'm gonna go crazy. Alright, take 1 million and 2. Okay, so broken. Let's take a look. Bot sprite dot position dot x is some weird number, and width is 45.5. So does that make sense? This thing is located... So this is the x position of 128. And it's about, I don't know, an eighth of a tile, which would put it another 8 pixels to the side. So 128 plus 8 is 136. But this is somehow at 158. That's the part of this I don't understand. See, Mr. Internet. The width has always been correct. That part's fine. I guess the part that's not fine is that... Actually, wait a second. We're always... No, we're not always doing that, though. Dropping frames? I have dropped 270 frames. And wait, Texio, you weren't following already? Well, thanks for following. I was trying to think, what if there was ever a bot, like we have this concept of weird looking bots. So there's the Quetzal bot that's kind of like a snake shape, right? What if there was ever a bot that looked like a big L shape? Then you'd probably want explosions to happen somewhere around here. So maybe the body of the bot should define its center point for explosions to hit. I don't know. I told you guys, I said at the beginning, like, this should be a simple solution. Alperenalhan. Thanks for following. What was covered in the 270 frames? What, Texio? My GF wanted to change colors, that's why I followed? Wait, you can't change your color unless you're following someone? Oh, lights. Oh, okay. Got it. Oh man, I am like not with it right now. All right, let me try to separate these if I can. Yeah, let me know if you got the whisper. Actually, I could tell. Yeah. Okay, so you should have gotten it. Oh no, what's this? Connection refused. Oh god. Oh, a whole bunch of people tried to do this and they couldn't. No. Okay, I turned off my router earlier and I think that screwed everything up. So all of these people got data back from token. Yeah, these people probably need to. Yeah, I know it didn't work. Okay, let me just restart this. Man, amazing how bad everything is right now. I can't even close this. Okay, so pre-stream light control code. Okay, so let's try this out. I'll try giving myself a token. Is it working? No, it is not. And why not? Yeah, not a minute. I thought about something like that. I don't know exactly if we want to do that or not. Oh no, did my IP address change? It better not have. Hang on a second. Let me look into something really fast. Where is this? No, my IP address didn't change. So then what must have changed is my internal IP address. So let's go to that. Sorry, this will just be a second. And if that's correct, then this should start to work automatically. So let's see, advanced setup, port forwarding. Did my IP change? Yes, it did. That's the problem. There should be some way to make this just auto update. Use the same port range for the internal port. Yep. Yeah, this thing sucks. There, what, now it's fixed and this just works? Okay, great. Awesome. Okay, so sorry, anyone who's on this list. Who is on this list? Hang on a second. Yeah, anyone who's on this list needs to be given tokens again. So I'll give you another token, Texio. There you go. And then everyone else here, I'll just add them automatically to this. I'm sorry, and if anyone is currently in chat who's on this list, just let me know. Add to o.json. Yeah, okay, it's working. That must be Texio changing them now. Man. Let me just check and see who's in chat. So, no Savage Pixel, no Ghost Dog, no ZVR DWF, no Vespa, but Griff is here. Griff to the ball. You want line. All right. Texio. Yeah, so I don't know the best way to solve this problem. So bot spray dot position dot x compose. Okay, let's go back to this picture. They all left because they couldn't play with the lights. Well, if it were me, I'd probably be like, what was this link I got? I actually click it and try it, and I'm like, okay, that was super weird. Like, this guy's doing something fishy. So what did I learn about this? The life bar needs to be positioned based on the offset, which we won't save. Well, we could save it, we just don't have to use it. Yeah, I should do this still. And, well, okay, so that would change the whole 30 divided by 2 thing to, like, entity sprite component dot offset x divided by 2 and entity sprite component dot offset y divided by 2. That's not get center x and get center y. Should just know about the wait, Griff, did you? I'm guessing you followed me. Anyway, I will. I'll give you a token. There you go. EJ. Alright, see you, Kukuraku. And yeah, I hope so too. Believe me. Yeah, so if we're going to make get center x and get center y know about these things, like, I feel as though that's helpful, but then it needs to be based on sprite components, not based on sprites. Do we ever use it on something that we don't have a component for? That's very unlikely, I think. Let's just take a look. Get center x. Well, it exists in incredibly few locations, so it shouldn't take me that long to figure it out. Yep, there's a component. Okay. There's a component. Okay. There's another component. So far we're fine on all of these. This sprite came, yep, there's another one. All right, good. And that's fine too. And that's fine, and that's fine. And then this is also fine. Yeah. So all of these could have just taken in coordinates. Yeah, okay, so here's what I need to do then. Alright, so refactor util so that the get center x and y functions don't exist any longer. Move them to entity util, which is exactly where they should have existed to begin with, and make them take into account the offset x and y if they exist. I don't know if that's a good idea. Yeah, I'll need to look through this again. That's mostly used for like zapper and everything. The center of the zapper. Would we ever want to do that? Sprite X and sprite Y. No, we wouldn't. I think this is fine. A token. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully you got it. Let's see, lights. Yeah, WASDZ is trying to access the lights with a bad token. I can just give you a token. There. So it should have created a new one for you. There we go. And Teclico, thanks for following. Okay, well, let's do this. So we're just going to get rid of these functions entirely. Done. And there, that's it. So now anything that involves like Pixie, yeah, that never should have been here anyway. So let's open up the package.json file here and bump that